All right, glad to be back for another tutorial session. This time we're going to be going over sculpting, and we're going to do things a little bit different this time. What I'm going to do is go straight to the lab and show you all my process for coming up with, as mentioned before, Don the Decorator from Screw Loose. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. All right, it's about that time, everybody. So let's go ahead and begin with our project that we're going to be going over. We're going to try to make this guy, at least the main sculpt. And he had like a stash in there, maybe some hair, and then the helmet, and then the clothes. So we're just going to see how far we could get with this. And yeah, let's go ahead and make a new sculpting file. And yeah, so let's go ahead and begin. We're going to play around with our brushes here. First, actually, I do want to go into edit mode because our guy here, you know, like I said, real world measurements. I believe I put him at around 5 feet tall, no, 5.5 feet. So what we'll do is actually we will add a cube here that is 10 feet. You know, double the. Actually, no. What we'll do is make it 5 feet. There we go. I will move it upward. And now we know how big and or small to make our main character here. So let's go ahead and put our shape right here. And what I'm gonna do right now is just add a whole bunch of primitives and shapes and then merge them all together. That's kind of my plan. That's how I'm gonna tackle this. All right, so, okay. So there's the head. By the way, primitives are the basic shapes. You know, sculpting refines them and everything, makes them more of a semblance of something. So let's go ahead and begin. All right, UV sphere. This is going to be the body. Kind of has like a little bit of a, you know, bulbous torso. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And make it a little bit smaller. Let's see, and then add some cylinders for the legs here. All right, let's mirror this. Mirror. All right, let's add a body now. All right, and then I'll add the ear. Kind of looking like a snowman right now. Kind of think it's funny. All right, and then for the sleeves, I'll go ahead and duplicate the arms right here. Oh, whoops. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is do that. There. Perfect. I kind of like, you know, like I kind of want to make this guy look a little bit of a mixture of Mario and Bob the Builder. So, yeah. I just realized something. Why am I making the... You know what? It's fine, actually. It's actually perfect. So, I think I'm going to do is just hide the shoe. I don't need the shoe. Technically, I don't even really need the pants. Moving on. Yeah, fruit fly. let's make the bulbous nose. There we go. All right, it's looking pretty primitive. Primitive. All right, look at that. Okay, perfect. All right. We could delete this cube now because it was a nice height reference, but we don't really need it anymore. For now, I'm gonna make the hands, these little balls, and I'm going to extrude the fingers, or like pull out the fingers, when we go into our sculpting mode. All right, so now we can go ahead and begin our sculpting of our character. We made like the basics, and now we can just go ahead and add our, join them together. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, whoops, I forgot to apply the mirror modifier. Ma whoopsie doopsie. All right, looking good. I like what we got so far. Okay, so let's go ahead, go into our sculpt mode. Let's do a remesh. Let's make it about 0.01 meters. It should be good enough. So that's about a centimeter. Real life measurements. I think that'll be fine enough. If not, we can make it up to a millimeter. Okay. It's processing. All right, sweet. All right, now what we can do is, you see how like kind of bumpy everything is? We could actually just, and be sure to turn that on up there, the mirror. Oh, hold on. No. Okay, what we want to do is origin to geometry, and then reset all transforms. That way, I done goofed again. There we go. Now we could do that. All right, let's do all transforms. There we go. So now we have the origin at the base of the mesh. So, all right, I'm gonna get a little bit more comfy here. And I guess we're all set to begin. So I'm gonna pull up my drawing tablet and then start sculpting that way. So. There we go. Okay. So, my bad. There we go. So I'm going to begin by, like I said before, smoothing out these rougher edges. Sometimes if you have a not so great computer, it can start to chug on you a little bit. Mine is pretty good. It's an NVIDIA, for the graphics card is NVIDIA like 4060 series, so it's pretty good. Doesn't have as much memory because RAM. And some people like to have dying topo or dynamic topology checked on. I personally don't. I've only found that it could get kind of cumbersome and like actually load more shapes on than you actually need. Just like keeping the shapes I already have on there and then remeshing it as I go along. I think that's usually the kind of the better way to go about doing this. In my opinion. Whoops. There we go. Now the faces are smoothing out a little bit better. More like what I want it to be. Okay. Alright, yeah. Much better. Sometimes you just kind of have to get a feel of these things, not necessarily know off the cuff what you need to do. That's what I love about 3D modeling and sculpting. It's just about problem solving. It's just kind of figuring out like what you need to do to make something work. All right, so now let's add some details. We smoothed out all the rougher edges. So now what we could do is actually start drawing on our object here. All right, let's see. Yep, there's a little bit of a little bit of an insertion there, a little divot. So what we'll do is go ahead and create that. What was interesting was that I think when I initially sculpted Don the Decorator, I think I started without an ear and then like manually like made it using an extrusion and then inserting a face in and then doing it that way. But this works too. As a matter of fact, this is probably better, you know. All right, and I believe he has a little bit of a chin. Let's go ahead and pull this a little bit down. Let's give our boy Donnie a chin. I've noticed this is sometimes it's less pronounced on some characters than others, but I tend to make the forearms bigger, and it's because like for me, I've always like had relatively bigger forearms, and so like that's actually translated into my character design a little bit. It's kind of weird, but anyways. And it just kind of looks cool. Like you have like this, yeah, I can. It signifies to me at least like, yeah, I can utilize my hands. Yeah, I can, you know, do all that type of stuff. Like that's always kind of been my design philosophy behind that. Is that it's always been like this serving, like, yeah, I can do stuff with my hands. And yeah, that's the feature that you ought to really kind of be focusing on, because that's going to be what is doing the most. So, ironically enough, we made the hands on this guy pretty small. So we could go ahead and kind of inflate this out a little bit. And yeah, so I'm not going to delve into the brushes too much like that you see on the bottom here. They are mostly kind of self-explanatory. Feel them out, see what they all can do, and, you know, just like kind of feel what's comfortable for you. Okay? So, yeah. All right, so now is to make the fingers. Time to make the fingers. So, for a little, I had the snake hook. It's not snake hooking. Did I do something wrong? Usually the snake hook, I don't know what is going on. Okay then, let's try this. Confession, I actually didn't tell you all about the brushes because I don't know what they do apparently. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm also kind of not, because apparently I forgot some stuff. So it's been a while since I've sculpted a character, so this is actually kind of nice. I've been mostly animating the past few months. It feels actually kind of nice to do this. And this is about the time that I would do a remesh, because this just looks ugly. It looks so rough. Yo, player, you so ugly. Shout out to anybody if they got that reference. Yo, player, you so ugly. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and remesh. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, boy. And those look so ugly. Those fingers look ugly. Yo, player, they so ugly. Okay. am I gonna do this? I need to fix my mistakes. Okay, question. Is he gonna have 3 fingers? Or am I actually gonna try to fix this? I better not be lazy, I should try to fix it. So we are not going to, another thing I want to say is that I'm just going to primarily be focusing on sculpting, because we could talk about retopology too, but it's a mess. I only think it's necessary to go over retopology with like things that you're going to be using a lot, like the face and the hands. It's not really necessary for like anything bigger, if that makes sense. So like arms or like knees or anything, like you could get a remesher to do that for you pretty easily, just as long as like for the, like, as a matter of fact, you'll see it on the right side here. I do have a remesher. I bought it for about, I think like $100. And I was thinking, you know, like just kind of starting out, you know, feel best $100 I ever spent as an animator. And if you're hoping to get into it, I highly recommend it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the description as well. Okay, so let's inflate this a little bit. This is what I get for planning so poorly, because as you can see, it's looking kind of jank right now. It was like perfect. It was perfect when it was 3 fingers, and I'm like, oh yeah, he has 4 fingers, and whoops, I had to mess the whole darn thing up. Hey, and if you saw my short, you know how I know how I could tell the length of each of the fingers. You know, that was just something that, like, I don't think anybody told me that. Like, I think I was just like observant, like, you know, like little like 3rd grade me, that I saw, hey, and then I don't know, this is funny. And does he have really much of a, he does have a wrist, so okay. I wonder how it looks from the front. What happened there? You know what? Let us decrease this to 2 millimeters. Yeah, 2 millimeters. All right, not bad. All right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna kind of leave it at that, the actual sculpting of like the main body right there for now. Maybe I'll give him some knees too, because I didn't give him legs at the time, because I know that we're gonna add like shoes. As a matter of fact, we already kind of started with that process, as you know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to use primitives to make the rest of the I'm going to use primitives to make up the clothing now. So, and the helmet and the stash, and we're going to add it to our little model here, and then we're just going to kind of end it there. So yeah, no, thank you all for, and if you want to know how to model, try to use my tutorial from before where we modeled styro, and then apply it to the clothing and the helmet and everything. And then in order to soften the clothes and what they look like, I recommend, sculpting immediately after that. So you're going to see my process of this. So, all right, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so that was my process of making Don the Decorator. I hope that all made sense, and I hope you like the end result, and more importantly, I hope you are able to follow along and try things out for yourself. And even if you didn't get it 100% because I didn't go through it step by step, I hope you're able to create something cool and unique from it. So, alright, that being said, I will see you all next time. We'll see what videos I decide to cover next for this channel. But in the meantime, stay tuned for okay, alright. Stay tuned for Forces episodes 3 and 4. Stay tuned for Forces and a Foam Sphere episodes 3 and 4. Both of those are going to be coming out in July and September respectively, and I am trying to still stay true to those deadlines. So, alright. Look forward to that, and in the meantime, I'll catch y'all later. Keep creating, keep styling.